Hey, so I wanted to make another video. So God, I see God as something that is, I have logical reasoning as to what God is, and if I can explain a little bit, it's existence in its entirety on all realms and all universes and galaxies. Any possible thing that could possibly exist is God, and that God is the sum of all of it, plus whatever individuals cannot understand. What is outside of comprehension of individuals. And when I say individuals, that can mean humans, animals, aliens, spirits, other beings from other dimensions. The things that they can't comprehend beyond what they can comprehend, no matter how complex they are or evolved they are. God is also that. And it's one thing and it's an entity. And I guess if I want to say logically, it's because if you take a look around you, you see that everything is made of forms. It's like looking around here, all the things in my room. I see a sweater, I see a harp. Even beyond my room, like I have a dog. There's plants in the backyard, air particles. Everything, including myself and you, is a being. That's what I believe because I know that I'm a being because I'm aware of myself and I know that I have an experience. And I'm speaking to a video camera, a phone. And if I'm a being with thoughts and feelings and a whole inner world and a sense of aliveness, and I'm made of particles like cells, and deeper than that, smaller than that, is atoms, and then there's protons, neutrons, electrons, and what makes up that is quarks, and then there's energy that makes up those things, and it all comes from the Big Bang, then I am that. I am the universe, whatever came from the Big Bang. And that's the theory behind it, is that it's the Big Bang. But, if we look in a microscope or something into our own hands, we see that these things are real. They're actually there, like atoms and stuff like that. And even these little, like, cells and atoms and particles are entities themselves because we can perceive it. And they're widespread throughout the entire universe. Well, atoms are, and energy. So every form that we see is made of these things, like atoms and energy. I'm a being, and I come from atoms and energy. So how could atoms and energy make up a being that's conscious with feelings and thoughts and can come up, and not just me I'm talking about, but like anyone, the human race. How could, like, dumb, dead particles come up with such great feats of beauty, compassion, leaving behind legacies like feelings and thoughts and awareness? I think it is alive. It's just not alive in the way that our current minds understand it, because this is nothing new. The old tribal and Native Americans and other shamanic cultures from around the world, they all understood this, that everything has a spirit. The Great Spirit is in all things. Everything is alive. So this is basically my theory, is that if I'm alive and everything, I don't always like saying form because it makes it seem like it's objectified. And I don't really like saying that anything is an object because, like I'm saying, I think everything is alive. And if everything that's alive, I'm a being, but I'm only controlling this human body. I'm not controlling my atoms and cells. So those are like separate entities. And if all beings come from other beings, and ultimately, um, if what science, modern science, understands as the Big Bang Theory, if everything comes from that, the Big Bang, then even if there are other big bangs, it's all still coming back to just one single thing, like a multiverse theory. And even beyond that, if there's something outside of that that is in a bigger continuum, existence is what it is. Whether you want to say in the physical universe, other universes, in the dream world, in the world of hallucinations from psychedelics or stress, in the world of psychic abilities like visions and astral projection, everything is existence, and existence itself, I believe, is alive because I'm alive and I'm made of things that created life, so it must be alive too. Existence is alive, and the one existence is alive, and it's conscious. So that's how I understand God. Again, like, if I'm going to be genuine, like, I do pray to God because I feel an impulse to pray to God, and I feel an impulse to thank God for when I'm happy and when things are going right. It's all like an impulse. But sometimes, if I'm going to be genuine again, like, sometimes I do fall away from the idea because sometimes it seems like it's just not working, sort of, and I get caught up in, like, thoughts. And for all I know, that could just be a dark entity, a demon, trying to pull me away from my truth, my God. And it's just the way it is. But I do fall from that sometimes, but I always go right back to it. And even when, what I've been told by angels is that even when it seems like it's not working, it is working. Angels and God are working in my favor to heal and to bring good things into my life. And something else I want to say is when working with God and angels, I don't know if there's like a theory behind it, really, or any kind of like system, because I don't believe in religion, really. I'm not Christian, I'm not Buddhist, or anything like that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, praying to God, I don't know if it's like, I really don't know if it's like, there's a certain method behind it, or a process that it undergoes to bring things into your life. And, like, if I can compare it to something, like magic, for example, like witchcraft or the occult, when you do these rituals, there's usually a theory or a method behind it. There's some kind of process that you have to undergo. And there's almost like these quote unquote rules you have to follow. Like, you have to follow. Not like your choice, like it just what is. Like they say, if you, with manifestation, if you put a if you put I don't want a girlfriend who um doesn't have a job. What some people say is that the universe will bring you that because the universe doesn't hear the word doesn't. So the universe, all it hears is, I want a girlfriend that has a job. Or whatever it is that you want. I don't even know why you would manifest that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, or if you say, I don't want anger, the universe is going to bring you anger because you said, I don't want anger, and the universe doesn't hear the word don't. And then that's what you're affirming. And that's the theory behind it. But this is what I'm saying is that with a lot of like new age and witchcraft and occult things, is there tends to be like a theory behind it, and what you believe is what creates that reality for it. So if you believe that the universe doesn't hear the word no or do not, doesn't, then that's what's going to be. But the thing is, what I'm saying with God is that I don't know if there is like a real theory behind it like that, because this is not magic. God is not magic. God is a conscious entity that ultimately created all things. So it's above magic, and it's not just a force. It is alive and conscious. So that's why, like, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I've kind of turned away from like witchcraft and the occult and stuff like that, and kind of like New Age. I'm still into it a little bit, but I've just grown past the need for doing like rituals and stuff like that because I've come to a greater realization about God and the nature of angels and things like that. I'm not Christian, like I said before, but just one consciousness is what I kind of believe in. I go back and forth with. And I don't want to claim to know for a fact that there is a God. This is just logical reasoning. To me, it seems like there is for me because of my reasoning and because of some evidence. Like, I've seen weird things happen, as I mentioned in other videos. Weird, like, miraculous things happen that defy the laws of physics and things like that. But something else I want to say is blind faith is powerful. If you are a Christian, let me give you advice. Don't try to come up with um, evidence or reasons or logic behind why God exists or why you believe Jesus was the Son of God, because people will always come at you saying like, "Oh, well, you don't know that there is a God. Where's the evidence? Where is the science?" But what they don't understand is that um, you don't need logic or science or anything like that to believe in God. It's blind faith, which is more powerful than reasoning, depending on how you use it, I guess. But blind faith is just believing it regardless. And that's okay, because to some extent, I think everybody is delusional. What if nobody really knows the truth about things? So why not just believe in something just because it makes you happy and strong? I think that's okay. And even with me, like, after I did have after I did have these realizations about God, like the logic and reasoning behind it, for a while I reached a point where I kind of let go of that reasoning and I was just believing for the sake of believing, and it was powerful because I would get these like off and on. I would get these feelings where I would feel like a warrior angel, like a sense of righteousness and like divinity, and kind of like being a warrior in a garden as opposed to a gardener in a war. And it's powerful. And I only got those feelings because I was just believing in God. I would pray to God to give me strength and things like that. The thing is with me is something I need to work on is that when I come up with these ideas about God and stuff like that, I go OCD. Like I really like obsess about it. But that's what assures my faith in it. It's like despite all the pain and torture of the spirit attacks, the psychic attacks, and my own obsessing, I choose to affirm that there is a God that is watching over me. Even if I have to suffer, I will suffer for God. That's how like OCD I was. But I'm finding more happiness and kind of like letting go of some of that. And I think it's all part of the plan because, like I said, I'm still seeing my angels, and they're telling me that God and them, the angels, are working in my favor still. It's still happening, even when I think it's not. Even when I let go of it, they're still bringing in the peace and happiness, and I feel it. I feel it every day. So I think me kind of like letting go and just finding simple things to do. And this is gonna bring me to my next part of this video. But just finding simple things to do throughout the day is bringing me a lot of happiness. Like just um, watching old episodes of Pokemon and stuff like that. I like it. And you know, I go for like a 3 mile walk on the treadmill every morning, and um, sometimes I go to the mall, listen to music. I drive places. I'm trying not too hard to obsess about things, and it's bringing me happiness. And that's something I did pray for, was more present moment awareness and like satisfaction, happiness. But it's just that you can't really feel fully happy when you're thinking so much. But I could be wrong. Maybe some people are. But this was bringing me to my next part of the video, is that I believe three components of God are love, simplicity, and gratitude. Because if you want to see God as like the entirety of existence, that's a simple thing, believe it or not. Because it just is. God is. You don't have to put anything after that. God just is. And the things that come from God, like all these beings, if you want to put it in a worldly perspective, all these forms, like the TV, the water bottle, the deer, the fly, the oak tree, the stars, the planet, the air particles, all these forms. What was I saying? I just got a thought block from the spirits. Forgive me. But oh yeah, all these forms and beings that come from God are becoming more complex as time goes on. And that's evolution. So with more complexity, just like thinking, that comes less sentience. But with humans in particular, because we're just so complex, it kind of, being so complex makes you like mentally ill. And that's why I think humans are like mentally ill animals, because we are like animals, but we're like obsessive and stuff like that. We think so much. And with so much of this hyper focus, we're actually starting to gain sentience, because it's almost like a death. But death would imply freedom, because, let me explain. You're letting, and I shouldn't say death, that's not a very good word to describe it, but it's a letting go of like the things that are causing this overthinking and stress and complexity. It's a return to simplicity, and this is like what I'm saying. It's like I'm somebody that did go through mental illness as a human, and I'm being led to these thoughts of simplicity, gratitude, and love, because God is simple, and God is found in simplicity. Love, because love is the easiest thing. You just have to do kind things. You don't even have to think about it. It's an impulse. I see myself as an impulsively kind person. I'm very loose with my money, and I have no problem spending it on others. Within reason, I do sometimes like to watch my spending, but I'm very quick to give tips at restaurants, good tips. I'm very quick to give people rides and stuff like that in my car, even if they're not going to give me gas money. I donate money. I buy food for the church that I donate. Just things like that. Like, people have told me throughout my entire life that I'm a very kind person. And it's an impulse. It's not because I think it's right. It's an impulse. Why? Because it's the simplest thing. It feels good. And it is good. It's so much like more of a hassle to want to be evil, I would imagine. I wasn't always a nice person. Like, I've done evil things. But it's just so much easier to just be kind. I can't explain it. It's simple. There's no explanation. But then gratitude is another thing, because you're just happy with what you have. You don't need any more. And this is why I'm not a driven person, because I'm just grateful for what I have. I like easy. Easy is the way to go. There's more happiness. And some people even believe that things gravitate towards you when you're really just simple and grateful and loving. They can be a success, love, finances. These things will just come to you, is what they believe. So it's kind of like what I'm saying before, is with evolution, like God, the Big Bang, stars, planets, single-celled organisms. fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, apes, humans, then come full circle with the humans, the individual humans that think about this stuff and meditate and return to God. Come full circle, then there's God in the humans. Life is a circle. The circle is a symbol of infinity. God. Spirit, God. Spirit is the essence of all things. Essence is what you are, and it's alive. It's God. See the dream catcher? Circles. So yeah, just another video. I had that 20 minutes. Damn. Okay. Peace.